Hi everyone, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back in the cider sheds, and I've got some new shelves. In fact, check them out. I'm having to sit over this side of the shed because I've put these shelves up, but I've also got this in the shed. This is a new kitchen sink, which was meant to be put in April, but because of the lockdown, it hasn't happened. But next week, the guys are coming. This is going to get put in where it should be, in the kitchen, so I'm going to have a lot more space. This is quite a big box. I've also got a radiator stored up here as well, which you can't see. So I'm sharing my cider shed with lots of household goods at the moment, but in a week or two they'll be gone. I'll have a lot more room to work in, hopefully. Right, so busy tasting today. I've actually got 2 ciders and a bit of cheese. Cheese is back. In the last video I mentioned that I'd got lots of bits of cheese to take with me to Herefordshire and Somerset to give to the cider makers, just as a nice thing to do. Left at 5:30 on the Thursday morning, left it all in the fridge. So I got a bag of cheese in the fridge, so I may as well use it, so I thought I'd use it for this. 2 ciders, one of which I've opened already, but no matter. First one is a new season 2019 from very small producer, Cwm Maddoc, in Herefordshire. Cider maker is called Jeremy Harris, very nice man. Sat down with him on Thursday afternoon and we drank through all the different bottles that he had available. Very nice, quietly spoken, lovely man. Makes some really interesting stuff. Betty Prosser, which is the one I've tasted previously, very critically rare pear varietal. I got the new 2019 version of that, which I'm going to taste. I don't know, in the next couple of days. I've got so many things to taste. Anyway, but today I've got this guy. There's the label, and on the back you can see it is Ashmeads Kernel and Black Dabinett 2019. There it is. So Jeremy's got like a small holding in Herefordshire, him and his wife. Basically converted a barn. They're building another extension on the barn. They do all sorts of different things. But Jeremy's really into sort of rare varietals, interesting varietals. When I was tasting with him, there was several that I'd never heard of. I've never heard of Black Dabinett before, actually. We tried one called Green Horse, which is a pear varietal. Never heard of that. Betty Prosser, which I mentioned, never heard of that. So yeah, he's got some really interesting ciders. I've got a Thorn Perry from him as well to try, which is quite cool. So anyway, lots of things to try. So that's the first thing. Second thing, see, I've had quite a lot of this already. This is from Bridge Farm. It's called Porter's Perfection, is the varietal. Single variety, this one, still. I had it a year or so ago, but I think at that point my palate was still developing a bit. I still didn't quite get dry ciders in the way that I wanted to. So when I was at the farm on Friday in Somerset at Bridge Farm, I picked up a bottle of this and a bottle of Kingston Black as well. Same sort of format, single varietal, still in a bottle like this, to try. So yeah, I'm going to give this another go today. I opened it last night, made a bit of a dent in it. What's the ABV? 6.5, not brutal. Anyway, so those are the 2 ciders. Let's talk about the cheese. The cheese I have is this cheese here. This is called Comté. It is from the Jura. Very famous cheese. I think it's like the 2nd most eaten cheese in France after Camembert. It's an Alpine style cheese. It's made cooperatively. So basically in each village, town, village, there's farms surrounding the villages with lots of dairy herds, and in the village is something called a fruitière, which is a cheesemaker. So each day the dairy farmers send their milk down to the fruitière. The cheesemaker there makes the cheese, and then the fruitière passes the cheese on to the affineur, the cheese maturer. So it's cooperatively made. There's 3 stages. You have the dairy farmers, the cheesemakers, and the affineurs. Okay, and this is grown organically over quite a long period of time. So the affineur for this cheese is called Rivoire Jacquemin. So basically what these guys do is they take cheese from lots of fruitières and mature them in one big site. These places are amazing. I mean, I've been to visit a few times, and they're like aircraft hangars full of cheese, often in old forts, actually, old fortresses from the Franco-Prussian War that were built along the borders. Basically they're empty, but they make brilliant maturing facilities, thick stone walls built into mountains, great for, you know, humid, cool, exactly what you want to mature cheese. So you'll go into these stores and there'll be like 100,000 of these in there at any one time. It's a lot of money. Usually robots doing the turning. Handmade, making cheese by hand is preferential to doing it mechanized, but turning cheese, it's quite a laborious task, especially when you're talking about cheeses which are 30 to 40 kilos in weight each. You get 100,000 of them. So you say, okay, Pierre, go and turn the cheese. He's like, yeah, mon Dieu, merde, you know, what I'm doing with my life. You know, I should have got a job in media or something like that. Anyway, and so they're not necessarily as careful with the cheese and with the repetitive nature of the work as a robot. So actually robots are brilliant. Take each cheese off the shelf, rub it, turn it, put it back on. And they're laser guided, and they'll do this with every single cheese, and they work around the clock, so the cheese are getting turned constantly throughout their maturing lives. They are graded. If you see, you can just see on the end of that, see that sort of green thing here. So that's a band that goes all the way around the cheese. The cheeses are about, I can't even fit my, about year wide, about, well, they're that tall. And each cheese is graded. Each batch of each cheese is graded, and they're scored out of 20. If you get between 16 and 20, you get a green band. If you get between 12 and 16, you get a brown band. And if you get less than 12, it's not Clumpty. It's not classified. It's sold off as cheap stuff, basically. So it's in everyone's interests in the cooperative to do as good a job as possible, from the farmers to produce the quality milk, the cheesemaker to make the quality cheese, and the affineur to mature it to the best of their ability, because you get more money for the green band than you do for the brown band, and obviously you get more money for the brown band than you do for the stuff that's declassified. A lot of information. This is a cooked curd cheese, alpine cheese, so that means they heat the curd up to about 55 Celsius. Make it very quick, very little acidification, lots of calcium left in it, which makes it kind of dense and bendy, unlike sort of British cheeses, which have got more acidic, less calcium, more snappable and friable. What else can we say? So they get a sweetness as well. Certain bacteria, thermophilic bacteria, come into play at high temperatures. They develop, like, they give you a sweeter flavour, like propionic bacteria give you sweeter flavours. Thermophiles, heat-loving bacteria, give you kind of sweeter flavours. So yeah, that's a very, very, very quick class on Comté. You can see at the edge of it's darker because it loses moisture from the edge first as it ages. This cheese is going to be approximately 21 to 23 months old, because I got this from Mons, the Mons cheesemongers who I work with, and that's pretty much the age profile that it's sold at. They do it 30 months plus, but I don't think it's good. It gets a bit over the top often. I prefer the subtlety of this over that. Anyway, let's try some actual cider, because that's what we're here for, isn't it? Rather than me blabbing on about cheese. Okay, weapon of choice. Second weapon of choice. Bottle of cider. Let's do it. So, Ashmeads Kernel Black Dabinett. So I tasted this with Jeremy on the farm on Thursday, but I tried so much stuff on that trip. I don't have a specific recollection of it. I just remember picking it because I liked it. Okay, very subtle carbonation, bottle conditioned, unfiltered. Jeremy just ages in steel, so you tend to get more pure, a pure fruit flavour than if you did it in oak, where you get other sort of microbes and oxygen sort of impinging on the flavour or affecting the flavour. He racks off a lot, so he takes the juice off the leaves a lot, which reduces nutrients, reduces yeast. You do much slower fermentation through the winter, give you more complexity. Stuff we've all talked about before. Okay, let's pour it out. Okay, so tiny bit of sparkle, really delicate sparkle. So you can see the colour on that. It is, I'd say that's gold. I'm just going to say straight gold, slight haze, but pretty bright. You can see through it, but slight haze. Let's give it a swirl and a sniff. Get these out of the way. Three gegs. Not so nice fruit coming off the nose straight away. Like quite a fresh red apple, I want to say. A little bit of age on it, but it's quite fresh sort of smell. A tiny bit of funk, hint of it, not much, but nice. Yeah, quite almost a creaminess to it as well. Nice. Okay. Delicate but very pleasant nose, I would say. Gentle soft tannins. Loads of minerality. Lemony, very lemony acidity. So I think of a really acid yogurt, lactic acid yogurt. That's kind of what I'm getting on the palate there. This is a crisp cider for sure. Almost like, I'm saying it's almost malic as in green apple, but I think it's just tending over towards lactic in terms of the acidity. I'm getting skins, apple skin massively, like I've just licked an apple skin on the mid palate there. Let's try a bit more. Oh, actually the nose, what is that? A little bit pineapple-y possibly on the nose. Yeah, I want to say pineapple, hint of pineapple on the nose, as I can get first off. Okay, so Ashmeads Kernel is a dessert apple. Black Dabinett is a quality cider apple. So he's taken the culinary apple and mixed it with the cider apple, and you got this kind of balance. But I'm thinking that appley malic thing. I'm wondering if that's coming from the culinary apple. Really crisp, really refreshing. I think this would be great with like seafood and stuff like that. Actually, really like it. Should we try with some cheese? I have a feeling it'll work quite well with the cheese because of the sweetness of the cheese with that. Okay, cut a bit off. Have a taste. Smells great. Sweet, nutty. It's like a brown butter quality to it on the nose. Right. So yeah, on the palate as on the nose, there's a nutty character to it. There is a brown butter character to it. Absolutely, I'm really getting that a lot. There's a sweet character to it that makes me think of like pastel de nata, like the Portuguese custard tarts. There's something like that going on with it as well. And it's a bit like the caramelisation, almost like a molasses character as well to it, like a darker flavour at the back. Man, it's getting better as I keep it on my palate as well. Really, really good content that. A bit more. Looks well. Works well. However, I think, oh God, that was doing all sorts of interesting things. It's delicious, that cheese. So, I think actually it works quite well, that. That's acid, that's not acid. That's dry, that's sweet. Good combination. But I feel like something with a little bit more richness would work a little bit better. I'm not complaining about what I just had. Great cider, great cheese. But let's have a go with the Porter's Perfection. Can't tell you much about this varietal. We'll have to investigate. It says here that it's a high quality bitter sharp cider apple which originated in the orchard of Charles Porter of East Lambrook, Somerset, sometime during the 19th century. Produces a sharp juice with a little astringency which results in a fine and balanced cider. Okay, we've learnt something. Screw cap, cool, still cider, so that's absolutely fine. Let's pour a bit out. Get all that out of there if we can. Alright. Right. Bright, really bright that. Again, not sure if he filters it. Maybe he does. Sometimes when they put them in clear bottles, they will filter them because something cloudy in a clear bottle, I don't know, just it's less appealing on the eye, and you eat things with your eye first. Whether it's necessary strictly to filter it, different question. But I think people like Watkins filter their bottled stuff and it still tastes great. So, you know, I will forgive people for filtering. Yeah, looks like a white wine. Very pale gold, almost yellow. Very pale gold. It does look like a white. If you didn't know what that was, you'd say it's a glass of white wine, like Chardonnay or something. Okay, let's have a sniff. Again, quite delicate. That's got a wine character to it, I think. Like a white wine character. Gentle hint of apple. Very gentle. There's some richness behind it as well. Hard to identify exactly, but yeah. I mean, it smells kind of wine-like, like all grapey rather than apple, if I'm honest. Let's try it. Okay. Nice tannin. Good astringency, not too much, just there. The apple comes through on the palate a lot more than it did on the nose. It is quite appley. Still kind of a fresh apple though, like fresh red apple. Not a green Granny Smith's apple, but like a red, rounded flavour, you know, a rounded acidity. Nice acidity. It's a gentle acidity. There's a sweetness. This is not bone dry. There's a hint of some sugar in there. Not a lot. I mean, it's off dry, I would say. You know, but it's. I mean, someone might class this medium dry, up to medium. I mean, it's not dry, but it's not sweet. I wouldn't say either. I'm actually getting some more stuff on the nose now. Makes me think of like green gauge or something. That's the first thing that pops out of my mouth. Whether I'm right or not, I'm not sure, but that's what it makes me think of. Nice. Again, it's quite wine-like. It'd be great with some fruit. Let's try it with a bit of cheese. It is a bit richer than the last one, so I feel like it might work better with the cheese. Nom, nom, nom. There's crystals in this cheese as well. We'll talk about crystals at some point. Yeah. It does work better. It's got a bit more body. It feels more viscous on the palate, which is nice. It feels more rounded, less acid, bit of sugar. Yeah. They're nice bedfellows. What goes really well with Comté, it's like the Jura wines, like Vin Jaune, Arbois, which are almost sherry-like in the way they're made. They're put in barrels which aren't completely full, so oxygen gets in. You get this oxidative character, sherry-like character. It works really well. But that's almost like a Jura wine without the oxidation. That's what makes me think of in many ways. Excellent stuff. That Comté is banging, by the way. Well, that was fun. 2 great ciders, totally different. One from Herefordshire, one from Somerset, one Porter's Perfection, one a blend. So, I mean, loads of stuff to think about and talk about there. That was fun. Right, so, I'm going to put a bit more of this, I'm going to charge my glass once more. Thank you for watching is what I'd like to say. I'm definitely going to be getting some of this Porter's Perfection when I go back. That was just a sample bottle I purchased when I was there. Really interesting. Can't wait to try the Kingston Black now, actually. Much more famous British apple variety. And we're going to keep on trying stuff, basically. I've got like so many bits of Comté, I think I'm just going to keep trying with Comté. Keep the cheese constant and see how the different beverages pair with it. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining me in my slightly cramped cider shed. I hope you got something from that. And I hope I will see you again soon for some more cheese and cider. But until then, cheers.